This is a video on how to rekey a Chevelle. This happens to be a 68, but it should be defined for most 8-body cars. It came with these types of ignitions. There wasn't a lot of videos online about it, so I'll kind of show you. If you find that you have a key to your door that doesn't match your ignition, you want to match the ignition to it, it's relatively simple. You just have to go slow and be careful. Personally, I like to buy a couple extra of these I have laying around from various sources, because you're going to need a bunch of these guys to match your key. They're relatively cheap. So what you have to do is you get your stock ignition cylinder here, and it has this plate right here, and underneath that plate are some springs and then these detents that control this guy right here, which is the bar. So what you do is just take a screwdriver and ever so gently pry up on each side here until you get this little metal bar out. It's a spring retainer. You don't want to deform this or warp this. I found that a lot of the times the way the factory retains it, you'll see right here and on each corner here that they just shoved and pinched the metal a little bit. And you'll see some JB Weld in the background here. I find that when you put them back in, you press them, while there's nowhere in the ignition for them to go, if that bar does pop out, it will cause your ignition to drag and potentially freeze up. So as extra added insurance, just something I like to do is I take just a 1/16 drill bit and I drill a little hole in one of the extra bars that I have right here. And then this way, when I put it back in, the JB Weld flows through that little orifice and sticks, let's get this, on both sides of the metal, as opposed to just one. It's just a little extra security. But what will happen is, oh, sorry guys, I'm trying to do this one-handed. When you take, the plate off, you'll find the springs, these little circles in the center. That's where the springs are, and the slots are where these H-shaped guys are. And you'll find the thing that controls your key, one of these grabs, here, I'll point to it, is right here. The location of this little detent right here, they're different on a whole bunch of these. So what you have to do is, turn this around, this bar right here is spring loaded once the springs are put in there, and it will pop up. And that's what will constantly stay up, and that's what stops your key from turning. When you put your key in, all these detents get pushed up, and it allows this thing to drop in flush like it is now, so you can actually turn your cylinder. So you'll want to put these in so little. All right, you want to put these things in with the detent right here facing towards this guy right here. I don't know if I can do that one-handed or not. Let's see if I can do this and show you. So basically like that, it goes in like you see it in my hand. It goes in like that in each one. You have to put one in at a time. There's 6 of them. Put a key in, see if the detent doesn't go up or down. I push with a screwdriver down instead of putting the spring in. And if this thing's all the way down in and this is not popping up to stop your cylinder from turning right there, then you're golden. And you got to do that 6 times. And then you just put your cover back on. I put, like I said, a little bit of JB Weld in each of these far end ones right here, and that holds the bar down for life so it doesn't pop out. Word of caution, these, I also, on each side here, I put a little bit of JB Weld just because these are just quickly pinched down, and I've had these little brass bars or these little shavings of metal basically that hold it on. They're under spring tension. I've had them pop out before, especially when you have a fat-handed mechanic who never works on this stuff before. 2 for 2. They shove the key in there and they can't get it out, and they forcibly push and turn, and then it breaks either this or this, and then you face yourself rekeying. I think that's everything, so I hope that helps.